repito, el mayor planetario del hemisferio occidental, acá en New Jersey, ya comienza. Hi, say hello.
Hello.
¿A qué hora? Empezaba a las 1:30, vamos a matar. Repito, estamos esperando pues el show de acá del planetario de la Liberty Science Center, acá en New Jersey, que es uno de los más grandes, el más grande del hemisferio occidental, uno de los más grandes del mundo. Y en breve comienza el show.
Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome to the Jennifer Chelsea Planetarium, the largest planetarium in the Western Hemisphere. My name's Maya. I'll be your presenter today for Space Trip. So I'm going to take you on a journey to the edge of the universe and back, stopping at some of the coolest places along the way. Before we get started, just a few announcements. As you may have noticed walking in right now, we have a Titanic exhibit at Liberty Science Center. It's up on the 4th floor. You can get tickets to the exhibit right there. It is very cool. There's real artifacts from the ship. So I definitely recommend you check it out if you have time. Next up, if you have to leave for any reason throughout our show, please use the upper doors, which you can find over here, and on the other side over here. There's a hallway through those doors. If you need to step out and come back in, that's okay. But if you do go down the stairs or elevator out there, there is no re-entry. The show is only about 25 minutes. All right. I forget if I said this before, but if you have a cell phone with you, keep it tucked away for most of the show. The bright lights can make the pictures harder to see. There will be some opportunities for pictures and videos. I'll let you know when those happen. Just keep your flash turned off. And with all of that said, are you all ready to go to space? Awesome. All right, then let's get started with our space trip. We have to start our journey from somewhere. And what better place to get started than right here in Liberty Science Center? All right, everyone, this is our night sky right here above New Jersey. We can see lots of really amazing stars in the sky. We can even see the moon over here. We've got just about a half moon tonight. Now, as cool as it is to look up at our night sky, we want to get off the ground. So I'm going to need all of your help getting our spaceship in the air. All right, so can you help me count down from 5? We are going to have liftoff in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! All right, here we go. As we fly away from the Earth, you can wave goodbye to Liberty Science Center. These are real satellite images of our home here in New Jersey. These pictures were taken by spaceships that travel around the Earth and keep an eye on things, making sure the weather doesn't get too bad and all good stuff like that. Now, as cool as it is to look down at our home from way up here, we're in space. So let's keep going. Let's go even farther. This time we're going to wave goodbye to the Earth and head out to look at our solar system. So today is May 3rd, tomorrow is May the 4th. So I hope you're enjoying some of our Star Wars festivities here at Liberty Science Center. We're kind of doing what they do in Star Wars, right? We're traveling around our solar system. We're visiting the different places. Now, our solar system is like our neighborhood in space. It's all of the closest things to Earth. The sun is right in the center. And the sun is about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So our sun is really hot. It keeps us warm all the way over here. Now, what's this little dot? Earth, very good. That's Earth. That's our home. The other lines and dots you see moving around the sun, those are the other planets. There are 8 planets in our solar system. Some of them are more similar to Earth than others. So let's visit one of our next door neighbors, another one of the rocky planets that you can walk around on. We're going to go to the 4th planet from the sun. Where are we going?
Mars.
Mars. You all want to go to Mars? All right, let's fly to Mars, everyone.
Voy a viajar a Marte.
Now, Mars is farther away from the sun than the Earth is, which means it's actually very cold. All right, the average temperature on Mars is negative 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So it gets really, really cold. And Mars is also pretty small. It's only about half the size of Earth. But even though it's half the size of Earth, it has some of the coolest canyons in our solar system, like this big canyon right here, the Mariner Valley. If you put this canyon on the Earth, it would stretch from where we are in New Jersey out to California. So it's big enough to cut the United States in half. And it is also 8 times deeper than the Grand Canyon. So it's a really cool thing. It'd be pretty cool to see it in person. But unfortunately, no people have been to Mars yet. We've sent rovers there, little robots that drive around and do science for us, but no humans. Hopefully that'll change pretty soon though. NASA wants to send people to Mars within this century. So in less than 100 years, we could have people walking on Mars. And if that's possible in 100 years, imagine what could be possible in 1,000 years. We could have people living on Mars. Can I get a quick show of hands? Who here would like to live on Mars? All right, that's a good number of people. Let me ask a slightly different question. Who would at least like to visit Mars? Okay, yeah, that's a lot of you. I think it'd be very cool to visit the red planet here. But if you're going to travel all that way, there better be some fun stuff to do, right? Yeah? And what is more fun than riding a roller coaster? So we're going to get a chance to ride a roller coaster through this canyon on Mars. Some quick notes before we get started. This is a great opportunity for pictures and videos. Just keep your flash turned off. If you get motion sick, dizzy, or scared, just close your eyes and look down. And last but not least, this is a roller coaster, so of course, feel free to stick up your hands in the air and scream as we go down those hills. All right, everyone, are you ready for a roller coaster ride on Mars? Yeah. Enjoy your ride through the Mariner Valley, everyone.
Coaster.
Acá estamos en el mismo medio.
¿Me siento ahí? No, me siento aquí, me siento aquí.
Aquí estamos en el mismo medio.
Coge, vamos.
Me siento en una montaña rusa, ¿verdad? Y lo peor es que no me marea. ¿Viste? Y lo peor es que no me marea.
No marea. O sea, lo mejor.
Ah, ya me mareé.
No mire.
Ya se me quita.
How was your roller coaster ride on Mars? Awesome. I'm glad you had a good time. That was our first stop on our tour of space. But there's a lot more we can see. Mars is our next door neighbor, right? It's pretty close to Earth. You can walk around on it. It even kind of looks like Earth, right? It's made of rock, and it's got mountains. Let's keep going to our outer solar system, where the planets look a lot less familiar. We're going to head to one of our gas giant planets. A planet made of clouds, thick clouds that swirl around quickly. We're going to visit the gas giant, famous for its rings. We're headed to Saturn. Saturn is the second biggest planet in our solar system. And the rings are probably the most famous part. They look solid in pictures, but as we get closer, you can see they're actually made up of tiny chunks of rock and ice. Now, the rings of Saturn are pretty young, all right? They haven't been around for that long. They're only about 400 million years old. All right? That might sound like a long time, and it would be for a person, but for a planet, that's almost no time at all. In fact, 400 million years ago, there was already life on Earth. Some types of shark have been around for longer than the rings of Saturn. Now, the rings were created when two moons got really close together and crashed into each other, breaking apart into lots of little tiny pieces, and those pieces got swept up in Saturn's gravity. Gravity is something we all are familiar with here on Earth, even if you haven't heard the word before, because what's going to happen if I jump up right now?
Gravity.
I'm going to come right back down. That's because of Earth's gravity. Because the Earth is so big, it's holding on to all of us. Saturn is really big, its gravity is really strong, so it holds on to all of these little tiny pieces of rock. Now, you might think it's kind of sad that Saturn had to lose a couple of moons in order to get these rings. Excuse me, everyone. Excuse me, sorry. But the good news is that Saturn actually has the most moons in our solar system. Saturn has 274 moons.
274 lunas.
So there's a lot of cool stuff going on around Saturn. Do you want to visit some of the moons? All right, let's fly to a moon just outside the rings of Saturn.
Vamos a visitar algunas lunas.
Una.
Nah.
Wait a second. That's no moon.
Esa es la de Star Wars, la de esta galaxia.
That's the Death Star from Star Wars. Well, it is made before. Just make sure if you're taking pictures, you keep your flash turned off. Thank you. So this, of course, is the Death Star. I hope the Death Star isn't hanging out around Saturn. But let's take a look at this crater, and you might see why I got a little bit confused. Here's Mimas. It kind of looks like the Death Star, right? It's got this big crater on the surface. Mimas is just outside the rings of Saturn. And some people, when they see it, ask if maybe the design of the Death Star was inspired by Mimas. Because they do kind of try to make it look like a moon. But it turns out we didn't have a picture of Mimas until 1980, which is 1 year after Star Wars came out. So it's completely a coincidence, but it's quite fun nonetheless. Now, just like Saturn, Mimas also has gravity, right? It has a pull, it's trying to hold on to it. But the bigger you are, the more stuff you have, the stronger you're going to be. So who do you think is stronger in terms of their gravity, Saturn or Mimas? Saturn, right? So if Mimas and Saturn got into a tug of war, who's going to win? Saturn. And it turns out they kind of are in a tug of war. Mimas is constantly pulling on those rings, trying to take them away from Saturn. But it never can, because Saturn is just too strong. What it does do, though, is it kind of stretches out the rings. It keeps them nice and pretty and well-defined. So Mimas not only looks like the Death Star, it also helps keep Saturn's rings looking so cool. Now let's head to another moon of Saturn, the largest moon of Saturn. We are headed
tiene esa forma plana porque esta luna atrae las rocas esas, entonces
Titan is almost the size of the planet Mercury, and it is the only moon we've ever discovered with a thick
son lunas
atmosphere.
de Saturno.
An atmosphere is like a
Otra
gas
luna.
blanket that surrounds a planet or a moon.
Una atmósfera.
We have an atmosphere here on Earth, right? The air we're all breathing right now, that is in our atmosphere. The clouds are in our atmosphere. Now, Titan's atmosphere doesn't have oxygen. That's the air we breathe, right? So we couldn't breathe on Titan.
La luna Titán.
And for a long time, we also didn't know what was happening underneath the clouds. The clouds were so thick that we couldn't really see through them. So finally, in 2005, I believe, we sent a spaceship there called Cassini. Cassini visited Titan as well as some of Saturn's other moons, and it dropped off a little probe, this little gold disc. And when we could finally see through the clouds of Titan, we found lakes. Huge liquid lakes all across the surface of Titan. Now, this moon is about negative 290 degrees Fahrenheit. So can these lakes be made of water?
No.
No, what happens to water when it's that cold? It freezes, it turns into ice. That's what's in all these mountains.
Es líquido.
Instead, these lakes are made of ethane and methane. Things that we normally find as gas here on Earth. In fact, methane is famously what cows fart. So that's what these lakes are made out of. They're really cold, kind of like liquid nitrogen. But very, very interesting. That means after, maybe we build a roller coaster on Mars in 1,000 years, another really cool destination for a roller coaster once we have faster spaceships could be Titan. So let's ride a roller coaster on this moon of Saturn. Once again, feel free to take pictures and videos, just keep your flash turned off. If you get motion sick, dizzy, or scared, just close your eyes and look down. Sorry about that, everyone. Give me just 1 second.
Right.
Alrighty. Sorry, everyone. Give me a second. I'm going to start heading up to the top of our dome, but while we get ready for our roller coaster, if you get motion sick, dizzy, or scared, just close your eyes and look down. It'll be over shortly. And of course, feel free to take pictures and videos. Sorry about this, everybody.
Eso no es una constelación, eso es de la cabellera Berenice. Es un cúmulo de estrellas, la cabellera Berenice. Es como si fuera la cabellera, el pelo, el cabello.
¿Y por qué en esta parte del canal de estrellas?
Algo pasó con... Mira, ¿ves? Algo pasó con el sistema.
Eso fue justamente como yo lo apunté.
Apuntarte, lo echaste a perder.
Hello everyone, so sorry for the interruption. I do have to reboot some of our computers. So we'll just take a quick 2-minute break while I get things working again. Thank you so much for your patience.
2 minutos, está reiniciando. ¿Ves? Porque son varias computadoras. Cada una con un pedazo. Uy, estoy viendo unas ventanas en el cielo.
Ahora se jodió todo.
No, está reiniciando las que se... Pero viste, no es una sola, son muchas computadoras, cada una un pedacito. La sincronización tiene que tener. Cuando están reiniciando parte del planetario, un desperfecto técnico. Y han tenido que reiniciar algunas de las computadoras, unos 2 minutos más o menos.
¿Tienes publicaste en tu canal la foto de los colores?
No, todavía no. Esta semana ahora.
Que acaban de verlo. Que acaban de ver el full brillar.
Sí, no importa. Mira.
¡Hala!
All right, everyone. So we are ready for our roller coaster on Titan. Once again, feel free to take pictures and videos. You might notice this roller coaster is floating. That is only possible because of Titan's atmosphere, just like why balloons fly here on Earth. So please enjoy your ride across Titan.
Un helicóptero pero flotando. Vamos. ¿Te imaginas eso, verdad?
Yo estuviera caído. Me tiraba yo mismo. Se me erizó la piel.
Ew. Me parece que es verdad.
Quiero montar una montaña rusa.
Ajá. ¿Nunca has montado?
No.
Vamos a montar.
No me has llevado.
Ah, pero el Cuba nunca montaste.
¿Dónde hay montaña rusa en Cuba?
Cuba bien. Wow.
Qué divertido.
Mira, esta me da más eso que el de la otra.
Y esta a mí no me marea.
No.
Sí. Me divierte.
¿Era algo por abajo?
Sí.
¿O es una mancha? ¿En el, de abajo?
Una mancha.
Ah.
Se siente en la vida real.
Sí.
Esto está genial.
All right, everyone, how was your roller coaster ride on Titan? Amazing. I'm glad you all had a good time. Thank you so much again for your patience. Now, this was our second stop on our space trip, but we still haven't left our neighborhood, our solar system.
Vamos al sistema
So
solar.
let's keep going. Let's see what's beyond our solar system.
¿Qué hay más allá del sistema
We're
solar?
going to fly so far away we reach the edge of the solar system, the Oort cloud.
La nube de oro. Donde están los cometas. La mayoría de los cometas.
The Oort cloud is a huge cloud of little tiny chunks of ice traveling around the sun, hundreds of billions of miles away.
El sol es una estrella. Y una
Once
estrella más
you
bien pequeña.
pass through this cloud, you've officially left our solar system and entered the rest of our galaxy,
de una estrella
the Milky
grande
Way.
como estamos de cerca del sol.
There are
No
250 billion stars in our galaxy. So there are a lot of really amazing things to explore. Let's go ahead, let's visit a bunch of these stars at once.
Vamos a visitar varias
So
estrellas.
I'm going to set us on a course for our first nebula.
Primera
A
nebulosa.
nebula is a
Orión.
really big gas cloud. This one is even bigger than our solar system. Now there's a lot of these gas clouds throughout our galaxy. Some of them do different things.
¿No has visto las
The
fotos?
Orion Nebula
Mm.
is a stellar nebula. That means this cloud is kind of like a factory for stars.
Y se forman estrellas.
Hundreds and hundreds of stars are being born inside this gas cloud all at once. Now, a star begins its life as a tiny little clump of gas called a protostar.
¿Se te cansó la mano?
These protostars,
Ah,
or
para no tener tan,
pre-stars,
para ver mejor.
start spinning
Mira,
really fast and they kind
estrella
of act like
formándose.
snowballs. What happens when you roll a snowball down a hill? It gets bigger, right? It picks up more stuff. The same thing happens here. As these little clumps spin, they start pulling in more and more gas and getting hotter and hotter until eventually they're hot enough to turn their engines on and start shining. When a star turns its engine on, it's not quite done yet because there's still all this leftover stuff. And you can see even smaller snowballs start to form. Now, these smaller snowballs are too small to become stars. What do you think they turn into?
Planets.
Shout it out. Planets, very good. These are planets. Our solar system came from a gas cloud just like this one, billions of years ago. And the Earth and all of us on the Earth were formed from the same things as our sun. So when you hear the phrase, we're made of stardust, this is what we're talking about. Now, I want to take you on a trip to one of the coolest places in our galaxy. We're going to go right to the very middle. We're going to travel to the center of the Milky Way.
Vamos al centro de la galaxia.
Now, as we get closer to the center, things are going to get a little bit brighter because there's more stuff in the middle of our galaxy. The gravity is stronger there. What we have found so far at the center of our galaxy
Estrellas.
is about 20 stars.
Se mueven así.
20 estrellas.
We discovered this actually,
Sí.
within the last
Claro,
50
sin las
years,
rayas
we found
rojas.
these 20 stars.
Sin las rayas
This is
rojas.
how they move, they're red lines. But if you look right in the center, do you really see anything?
¿Ves algo en el
No,
medio?
it looks empty.
En el medio no.
But when astronomers looked at this, they were like,
¿Qué tú crees que
something
sea?
has to be right in the middle.
Algo que atrae las
Because the way
estrellas y no
these
se ve.
stars move. They're orbiting something. Just like planets orbit the sun. Just like the rings of Saturn
No,
travel around the planet.
Yeah,
Something's gravity is hanging on to these stars. Now, the only thing, I hear some of you saying it already, the only thing that is big enough to hold on to stars, but also can't be seen, is of course, a supermassive black hole.
Black hole.
This black hole is named Sagittarius A star, and it is 4 million times the mass of our sun.
El horizonte de
So
eventos.
its
Después del
gravity
horizonte de
is
eventos no
about
se
4
sabe qué hay.
million times stronger than our
Las leyes de
sun.
la física no se cumplen ahí.
Now, they're called black holes because you can't see them.
Sí.
They're so powerful that not even light can escape their pull. That's what this big disk is. It's called an accretion disk. It's like a whirlpool of light and gas spinning down a drain until it reaches the point of no return, the event horizon. Now, this black hole might seem kind of scary because it's hanging out in our galaxy, but the good news is we are really far away. Sagittarius A star is not a danger to us at all. In fact, it's really helpful. Without Sagittarius A star, our galaxy would kind of fall apart. The whole solar system might end up somewhere where we don't want to be. So it's a really good thing that our galaxy has this black hole holding together. And we actually think that there's a supermassive black hole in the center of almost every other galaxy too. But you don't just have to take my word for it. Let's find out. Let's actually leave our
¿Cuántos
galaxy.
agujeros negros hay en una galaxia?
Let's head out.
No, una pila. Ese es el del centro que es supermasivo, pero hay chiquitos de que se formaron de estrellas grandes.
Earth has ever left our solar system, like it's never passed through the Oort cloud, much less our galaxy. But if you could leave and get far enough away, we think
Saliendo de la galaxia.
We just came from the center. That's where that black hole is. And the Earth is about 2/3 of the way out. Now, until about 100 years ago, we thought the Milky Way was it. We thought it was the only galaxy that there was. But in 1923, we started to find more. This was the first galaxy we ever discovered outside of our own. And it's called Andromeda. Andromeda is our nearest neighbor. It is the closest galaxy to us. And even though it's the closest one, it is still 2.5 million light years away. That means if you wanted to visit this galaxy and you got in a spaceship that could fly at the speed of light, even then, it would take you 2.5 million years to get there. These things are incredibly far apart. Now, we found this one in 1923. Do you think we found any more galaxies since then? Yeah? Okay, do you want to see some more galaxies? All right, let's see if we can zoom out and find some more.
Todos son galaxias.
So there's our Milky Way.
Nadie sabe lo que hay
And this
en la
is
otra
our
galaxia.
little area of the
Estrellas y
universe.
planetas
Every
igual que aquí.
Pero, o
galaxy you see
sea,
on the
que si
dome is
saben
one we've
esos
actually
planetas son
discovered. So this
habitables.
is real
Si no
data.
se sabe los de esta
This is a map
galaxia,
of the
nosotros se va a saber los
galaxies that we
otros.
know about. You might be able to tell just by looking around, galaxies tend to stick together. They don't really like to be by themselves. Sometimes, like the Milky Way, it's a group of 5 or so galaxies, but sometimes you get a lot of galaxies stuck together. This is a galaxy cluster, the Virgo cluster. It's about 2,000 galaxies stuck together by their own pull, their own gravity. And right in the center is M87, a supermassive galaxy.
No es un chorro que
Now,
sale de
if you
eso.
had to guess, what do you think is in the center of
Un agujero negro que
M87?
tira gas.
Another supermassive black hole. This one just so happens to be the first one we've ever taken a real picture of.
Primera
So
foto
here's a
de un
real
agujero
picture of a
negro.
black hole.
Esa es la primera
Of course,
foto real de un
you can't
agujero
actually
negro.
see the black hole itself because it doesn't give off any
Bueno, de la
light.
materia que
But
está
this
cayendo en el agujero. Es una
ring
foto real.
around it is the accretion disk. That whirlpool spinning around,
Es
heading
material que
towards
está
the
cayendo en el
center
agujero,
of the
se
black
calienta
hole.
y emite luz.
Since this picture, we've also managed to capture a picture of the black hole in the center of our galaxy as well. All right, everyone. So this is a lot of galaxies on the dome in front of you. Do you think this is the whole universe? No?
¿Tú crees que ese es
All right, do you
todo el
want to see the
universo?
whole thing?
¿Quieres ver todo el universo?
All right, everyone, let's fly out to the very edge of our universe.
Vamos a volar al borde del universo.
Santo Dios. ¿Por qué esa brilla más?
This is our universe.
No, eso es.
Every
No sé
tiny
por
purple
qué.
dot is a real galaxy that
Cada
we've discovered. So
puntico
once
una
again, this
galaxia.
is real data. The Earth and the Milky Way, we're right here in the center.
Para señalar dónde está
But
la.
that's just because this is from our point of view. This is how we see the universe. We call it the visible universe.
Así es como lo vemos
Now, you
porque
might notice that there's some chunks of the visible universe that look empty.
algunas
And
partes que
it's not
parecen
that there's
vacías
nothing there. It's just that we can't look there. Something is blocking our view.
porque no se
If
ven,
we could see this
porque no
part
se ve
of the
parte,
universe, we think it would be full
porque
of
las
galaxies,
estrellas en
just
nuestra
like everything
galaxia
else.
la tapan.
But we
Nuestra
can't
galaxia
see
está
it
así.
yet. So for
Las
right now,
estrellas
let's pretend that this is the whole universe.
¿Cuál es la
All right?
galaxia
That we
más grande?
somehow managed to find every galaxy there is out there. Even if that's the case, there are 2 trillion galaxies in the visible universe. And each one of them has hundreds of billions of stars, and probably even more planets than that. We have no idea what we could find in these galaxies. We could find life. We could find places just like Earth. We could even find things we'd never dreamed possible. The only thing holding us back is how fast our spaceships go and how far our telescopes can see. So for now, this is as far as I can take you because we don't know where anything else is. So I think it's a good time we head back home and find our place in the universe.
Es hora de virar atrás y encontrar nuestro lugar en el universo. Vamos a virar
Ay,
para...
me mareé.
Sí. Mira,
Here we
estamos
are
en-
back home in one of the spiral arms of the Milky Way. Traveling through the edge of our solar system, the Oort cloud,
Me
once again.
siento mareada.
y está María cerrada eso.
¿Eh?
Parece que está girando el suelo, ¿eh?
No, me
You might
siento girando
notice
yo.
There's a
Por
lot
eso.
more galaxies than we can typically see
Cierra los ojos y ya.
with just our eyes. And that's because they're still out there. They're just so far away. They're not bright enough for us to spot. So the next time you get a chance to look
Ya
up at
estamos
our
llegando,
night sky
Me
from here
giran
on
los
Earth,
ojos.
appreciate the beautiful stars and the moon like we saw at the beginning that you can see.
¿Están de
But
vueltas?
also remember all
Ya
of the
estamos de
really
vuelta.
cool things that you can't quite see.
Estamos de
There's
vuelta.
so much out
No,
there
que se
waiting to
están
be
dando
explored,
vueltas.
waiting
No.
to be discovered.
¿Por qué están dando
So
vueltas
thank
en
you all
mi
so much for
mente?
coming. May the fourth be with you. And I hope you all enjoyed your space trip.
Mira,
No, ¿qué
Ya.
crees que
Please
me...
check your seats before you leave and make your way to the upper doors of the planetarium. If you have any questions for me, I'll be by the upper left exit of the planetarium in just a second. I'd be more than happy to answer that.